embarrassing day for Rangers. Celtic fans will be hanging around Celtic Park for a while to make the most of this. Beaten by Rangers in the Scottish Cup semi-final shootout last season. Revenge was in the air from the off, and it has been ruthlessly and clinically taken. Sinclair. Here's Tierney. Is there another one? There might be for Armstrong. There is. Now that is really rubbing it in. Celtic 5, Rangers 1.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Nothing But Respect podcast. This is season 2, episode 3, I believe, eventually. We've had some few technical difficulties the last few weeks. I'm glad to say that timing is a favour of us because we're back, and what a week to be back, as I'm joined tonight by Brucehillbhoy. OC, it's Monday after the weekend. How are you after that weekend?
Well, it was nothing major, wasn't it? It was the champions against a newly promoted side. You wouldn't expect it unless. No, I'm fantastic. It was a great weekend. How are you?
It was a good weekend. As good a weekend as has been for us in a while. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought we played really well the weekend. It was a combination of, well, as I say, I thought we played well. Didn't think we played our best. I think we've played better this season, but it was good enough to get a good win, so I think we should just dive right into it. Would you agree?
Aye, definitely. Aye, can I?
So, on Saturday, Celtic, for the first time ever, I think we can agree, welcomed Rangers and their new guys to Celtic Park for league duty. It was a game built up in the media as the return of the old firm, if you're allowed to still say that phrase. It was built as the return of the Rangers teams that we had seen in the past, obviously before 2012. We were fed the usual drivel of combined first 11s. We were told that form book goes out the window, but let's not look at the recent form of the teams. Let's look at the form of both teams on one particular game, April 17th, 2016. We were built up. It was built up it was going to be an even game, and that routes don't seem to happen, but I think Tom English gave him a lot of credit for a change. I think he described it perfectly when he said that in the end it was a rivalry in name only. And what was it he says about Rangers, Dan?
I don't know, I think I'm currently blocked.
He said it was a Rangers team in name only as well. So, but we'll get to that after. What did you make of the build up to the game? Because everybody was, as I say, the combined 11 part of that seemed to really annoy me, and people for another podcast, the 20-minute Tims, they were saying, and I think they were right, that it was just let's put Rangers in the same bracket as Celtic for a week. So before we talk about the game, what did you make of the build up?
Well, I think people seem to think Peter Lawwell's desperate for Rangers to get back, and Dermot Desmond, etc. But you never once heard anything from Celtic saying they're our title contenders, they're who we are going to play for in the big games. Aye, it's always going to be a Glasgow derby, right? Old firm, new firm, whatever you want to call it. But the build up to it was quite incredible, because you really did have one team who was in the ascendancy, and Celtic who had improved in the summer in every aspect, from manager to players, to another team that had won, I believe, only 2 games since that semi-final. So anybody that had been watching the teams, I think it was quite clear that this was always going to be the outcome, and it was just a case of certain pundits trying to somehow make fans believe that Celtic and Rangers are still fierce rivals on the pitch.
I agree. I think that Well, I want to talk about the combined halvings because that really annoyed me. Obviously, I don't want to get into the argument whether it's a new Rangers or an old Rangers or whatever, but that's been done. Obviously, ex-Rangers players in the media are going to be, biased towards them. But I thought a lot of them were stretching. I mean, Barry Ferguson, for example, had 8 Rangers players on his team, which I thought was mental. And on Saturday, I think we showed that not one of their players would even get near our team. But the build-up itself, we were talking all week about how excited we were. I mean, we were looking forward to the game. There's no two ways about it. As you say, after the pitch, I think the rivalry's still there. I think it's always got to be there, and people can turn a blind eye to it or no. I think the rivalry after the park will be there longer than it's going to be there after we're away. So that didn't bother me. I get the same excitement as you well know. I mean, me and you were up to 3-4 in the morning talking about it, but we all did. The consensus was they're not in our league, we're going to hammer them, and I mean that's exactly what we did. But getting to the game, we need to mention this because you'll no forgive me if I don't let you brag. Saturday morning, I phoned you at 10 o'clock because I was nervous, I'll admit, and I just started drinking. I think you were the same. We had a conversation about 10 minutes and you said I'll phone you back when the teams get announced. So 11 o'clock, I'm standing outside the pub waiting to go in, and my phone starts going, and you didn't even say hello to me or hello. You said one sentence at the start, and I'll let you repeat it now.
I said, get all your money on Moussa Dembele to score a hat-trick. It's happening. You obviously didn't bet it.
I backed Tom Rogic because I fancied Dembele for the first goal, but I didn't want to jinx your bet, so I bet Celtic -2, which obviously was to come in, but I'll give you your credit for the Dembele hat-trick shout. So getting to the game, were you happy with the starting 11?
I think we can hold our heads up high. In a couple of episodes we've done this season, we have been quite big fans of Moussa Dembele, so I don't think we had any fear that when Griffiths was declared unfit, that I think we both thought that Moussa Dembele is a great player, and he was just going to be far too intelligent for the idiots they've got at centre half.
I will just take part in it. What we were saying when we were talking in the lead up to the game, even on Twitter, I know we've not had a podcast in a while, there's been technical difficulties. We did actually record a screamery a podcast before the Aberdeen game with Hunter, who's sadly not here at the night. We had a really good podcast. I think we all predicted Dembele would score in 2 weeks. But the phrase that we were saying, it wasn't Lee Griffiths running at that defence, it wasn't Sinclair running at that defence, it wasn't Roberts or Forrest. We were all saying Dembele because of what we'd seen from him. So, as you say, there were absolutely no fears when Griffiths was out. I obviously want Griffiths there because Griffiths is going to be up for it against Rangers. He enjoys the big games, Griffiths. But I had no fears about Dembele. We spoke about the goalkeeping issue with De Vries. If Rodgers has brought De Vries in to be his number one, then he had to play him on Saturday, didn't he? Whether he thinks he's ready or no, he's got to make that statement that this is my number one.
I think the writing was on the wall for the Aberdeen game when De Vries was thrown in, because whether you like it or not, the other team that's finished second the last 2 seasons, and Rodgers, I would imagine, threw Doris De Vries in because 1, he probably wasn't fit enough for the Hapoel game, and 2, he knew that he had to get him in before these 2 big games that we had coming up.
Yep. So back 4 picks itself, really, were you surprised? Well, I'm not surprised Gamboa wasn't put in, but I mean, would you have played him instead of Lustig?
No, definitely not. Lustig's just too experienced, and I think with Sviatchenko and Toure at centre half, and obviously Kieran Tierney at left back, it was quite a solid defence, and don't think you can have any real complaints.
Now, everybody seems to, I mean, I'm of the opinion myself, but everybody seems to think that Brown and Beaton don't play well together. as much as I do tend to agree, I think sometimes it's down to the player that plays in front of them. And I don't know how many times, Tom, the three of them, Rogic, Brown and Beaton have played together, but I actually was quite happy to see Rogic get in there with the other two. Some people were saying they maybe played Brown and McGregor, but I just think I like Beaton. You know, I'm not afraid to say I'm a big Beaton fan. The only other thing for me was Roberts or Forrest. I really like Paddy Roberts. I know you're a big fan of Paddy Roberts, but could Rodgers have dropped Forrest on his forum?
Aye, if you ask me, aye. I think Paddy Roberts is a far better player. I know James Forrest is their player. Paddy Roberts is probably only here for another 7 months. But I just think it's going to sound quite strange, but I think Forrest's goals get him out of trouble the last few weeks because I don't think he's been great. He's been better, definitely better this season. No doubts about that. But I just think Paddy Roberts is a far better player. I'm
going to throw something back at you. Roberts been half injured against Astana. I would say that Forrest has took his chance in the team, and as I say, I think goals got to try and get a wee bit harsh on him because I thought he did a really good game against St Johnstone. Aberdeen now was quiet, but I think he's took his chance since Roberts has been injured. But
I'll throw that one back at you. If you're saying that Craig Gordon saved a penalty in the half-Oil game, was that no way put down as taking his chance? The Vries was in for the Aberdeen game if Rodgers has got. No. I'm not saying that's why he did pick Forrest, but I'm just saying
I think with the goalkeeping thing, I think it's a statement for Rodgers that they've signed De Vries as his number one. If he had to play him, whether he thinks he's ready or not, I think Rodgers had to make the statement and say this is my goalkeeper, because Gordon saved a penalty, but you know he just signed a new keeper. Gordon wasn't Gordon's chance to take, if you know what I mean. I just think Forrest has took his chance in the team. I would have played Roberts. I'm just arguing to the side of, as much as I would have played Roberts, I can't really see any justice. It's alright to say Roberts is a better player, but if you look at our last couple of, he's scored in the last couple of games. I would have found it hard to drop Forrest. I just must admit. I
don't know. But I didn't make a big deal about it. I thought it was I'll just point this out though. At the game, there was actually fans that booed it when Roberts was in as a substitute, which I thought wasn't very great because that type of game you have to get behind the team. But I didn't have any real complaints about Forrest playing. I think he's probably played well enough to keep it, but I do think Roberts would have been a better option.
Right, and let's not dwell too much on it, but I know I was surprised when I seen the Rangers team. What was your thoughts on it?
Well, I'd actually seen a lot about it on Twitter before I seen it. I thought they were going to line up with 7 strikers or something, the way people were talking, but I think that's when I realised, see when they lined up, and people are going to think I'm at my fish, but I really wasn't. There was a few Rangers players I had to ask people, who's that? And I think that's when it really hit me that they're just nowhere near us anymore. You don't recognise some of the players.
I read a couple of predictions for journalists, and one of them, I can't remember who, Gary Ralston maybe, said that Rangers would win because of Josh Windass. And obviously I know who Josh Windass is because I keep an eye on Scottish football, but it was a big statement to make for somebody that was playing League 2 football last year and no reason for the best team in League 2. When I seen their team, I thought it suits Celtic perfectly because, their back four, horrendous. I include Tavernier Moss in that. I think Lee Wallace is a horrific player. I've made no qualms about it for years. I just don't get it. They've got a love for him, which is justifiable because he stayed when they liquidated and the new Rangers, whatever, he stayed. Jamie Stewart, I think that's for a lot. I think he gets an easy time because of that. The two centre halves, he's through Senderos in, which I was delighted about. I don't think Rangers keepers particularly great either. The mid, but it just seemed to me like they played 4 at the back with virtually 2 that would be playing as wingers, which would help us because the midfield was non-existent. It was 2 passengers and a debutant who's come up for League 2, like 1920 or something. I know Mackay, Miller, I mean, I wasn't bothered about Kenny Miller on the left. I would have been more worried if Kenny Miller was in the middle, because, you know, he does seem to have a knack of scoring against us at times. But when I seen their lineup, I thought, this is going to be the route everybody's been predicting, because I think, you know, I was thinking, are they going to catch us in the break? You know, are they going to hit us in the break with, you know, with Cranchar and Barton? I thought I didn't see where Cranchar was going to fit in. I didn't see where Barton was going to fit in. I thought, you know, basically what he's doing is, I mean, I thought he was gaining us. If we played the pressing game I thought we were going to play, then he virtually gave us, you know, the impetus. He gave us the initiative, and I thought the game played out like that. I thought at first, I liked Celtic's start, I must admit. Where did you make the first 20 minutes? It was kind of ebb and flow either way, but I always thought we were the more likely in the first 20 minutes. I don't know about yourself.
Aye, I think they kept the ball well for the first 5 minutes, but then Celtic really did grow into the half. Like, we spoke on the pod before how Rogic needs to play games like this to prove his worth to the team, and I thought he was excellent. I felt just every player, like, even like a few people criticised him because he got booked after 6 minutes, but I think that might have been a really important foul for Beaton to get away. And I seen his post-match interview with Celtic TV, and he says he knew he had to take it because you don't want to lose a goal early. And I think it was, like, I thought Beaton was excellent. I think I just thought every time we pressed him, they panicked and gave the ball away. Like, they were just so poor.
I thought the one with Barton nearly scored the OG when he rattled the ball back at the goalkeeper. That was it for me. That was the moment. Like, obviously you don't want to go on and tweet things, and, you know, because you make a fanny of yourself, but for me, that was like, they can't live with this pressure. You know, they will crack. It's a matter of time before we either open them up or they crack. And I thought that for that moment on, for the first time ever, I was supremely confident. You know, I remember being at Ibrox 5 years ago and 2-0 up in injury time and still being a bag of nerves. And, you know, being 3-0 up and being a bag of nerves at times, and, like, people saying to me during the 6-2 game, even at, you know, when Sutton scored the 6, you're like, right, that's it, the game's done now. Now, I was so confident at 0-0. I thought we're either going to have to drop off, which isn't going to happen under Rodgers. You know, he keeps the momentum for the whole game, and either they're going to, it's going to take a dodgy decision for Colm, and they're going to need to wrongfully disallow 4 of your goals before and give them a penalty or something for us to get beat. And then obviously, as soon as the longer the game went on, the first half, I mean, obviously it felt a lot longer because it was a big game, but after about 25-30 minutes I thought, no, there's only one winner, and we got the goal for a corner. Great cross for Sinclair. Well, just before the corner we had a great move. Rogic had a great pass to Sinclair, but I don't think they peppered their goal in the first half, don't get me wrong, but I thought after about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it was a matter of time before we scored, because there was about a 3 or 4 minute spell where we were just camped 25 yards out of their goal, and I thought it's a matter of time before we wear them down, and we did. 32 minutes, a great cross for Sinclair. Don't know what the Rangers defence was up to, but Dembele was free and he scored a lovely header. What was your thoughts of the first goal? Could you see it coming for a corner? I mean, I thought it would come from the play.
I don't know if I've seen it come for a corner, but I think it was Andy Walker pointed out in the analysis, they seem to struggle at defending set pieces and simple crosses in a box. I agree with what you're saying. I think Celtic just, especially guys like Rogic, just seem to come right into the game. Like, we had so much of the ball, I was never worried that they were going to just come up and score. The goal came at a good time, and like, it just seemed to settle the team, and it rattled him as well, you could tell.
Just, I kind of brushed over it a wee bit, but Rogic, I thought the better we got, the more he got involved. and I thought he was at the heart of Everton, good about Celtic in the first half. But we got a goal, and then the consensus in the pub we were watching it in was, if we get a second before half time, it's going to be a rout. We got a second. It was a great goal for Dembele after a bad mistake for Kiernan. But I thought Beaton's pass was brilliant. You were at the game.
Do you think it was a mistake from Kiernan?
I thought it was a bad pass. He gave a bad pass in. I think he was looking for Wallace or something, and Beaton intercepted him. But when Dembele skinned Senderos, did you think, on you go, big man, or were you like me and shouting, square it?
As soon as Dembele got the ball, I was shouting square it because I'd seen Sinclair busting through. But no, I think it was just a measure of the confidence that goal had gave him, that he just said that he thought, aye, this is mine.
See, I thought we would bet you'd have been screaming shoot soon before he even picked the ball up. I must admit I was screaming square it, but as you say, the confidence that he got for the first goal, I mean, it was a great goal, it was a great finish. Is there anything on the second goal you picked up on?
It was just terrible positioning by Senderos. It reminded me a bit of Mastorovic and Sion, where he just seemed to be about 10-15 yards behind his other centre half, and it was great vision from Beaton. He's got to get a lot of credit for that.
I thought he weighted the pass really well, because one, he didn't fire it at Dembele, because I thought Celtic they did try and play the ball up to Dembele and play off him. I thought it was a good pass for Dembele obviously to run onto, but I thought it just enough pace on it that actually tempted Senderos. Obviously Senderos was going to go and challenge the ball, but it tempted him in, and obviously got to skin him.
Do you know what I'd add about the second goal? I think it's a good measure of how confident Dembele is, because you think about it, he took a penalty in the last minute against Astana for his first goal for the club, and he's got the confidence in Glasgow Derby to just take his man on and just slot it past the keeper. I think we forget, I suppose he's only 20 years old.
Yeah, I must admit, watching it back, he doesn't even look at Sinclair, doesn't he? There's only one thought in his mind as soon as he picks that ball up, and it's 2-0. I thought after that, I thought it's got to be a rout. Rangers will not turn up for the second half, and they get back into the game. But I just want to touch on their goal. At the build up to their goal, which was right after the second, Sinclair nips in and wins the ball high up the park, and I think Dembele chases it, and I don't know if it's Senderos or Kiernan, but one of them gets in there and clears it, and Rangers break up the park. But if we'd have won that ball and scored again, in my opinion, it was either 3-0 or 2-1. What did you make of their goal? 'Cause I've got a few reservations about it, but I hear your thoughts on it first.
At the time, I was very critical. I thought Tierney was a bit slow to stop Tavernier getting a cross in, because I think a boy like Tavernier, that's where a lot of their threat is going to come. Then at the back post, Miller's in far too much space. You've got to ask where Lustig is. I don't know how his positioning was. Obviously the ball just loops out De Vries, so you've got to question that as well. And then Gardner's free at the back post, whereas you've got to look at where Kolo-Toure or Sviatchenko was. So I thought none of the defence covered themselves in glory for the goal.
No, I'd agree with that, and I thought that was one of the negatives for pressing Rangers high up the park, because it clearly worked, it buried them. But Brown and Beaton and Rogic were elsewhere. They kind of got the break of the ball on the right. My problem is two players that fall for me, Lustig and De Vries. I think De Vries is far too to the right hand side as Tavernier crosses it, and when the ball goes into the back post, he's got to scramble back along, so to get to the back post, and then it's going back out again. I think if he was betterly positioned in the centre, he would have probably came out and caught Miller's flick on. I think he was in no man's land. But disappointed, just let the ball go on as well. He kind of made an attempt to stop it. Although again, I've not really watched the Rangers go many times. But I thought Lustig let Miller go. And as you say, the two centre halves were poor. But what was your reaction to their goal? Did you think it changed the game, or in
a weird way, I thought it maybe would have a positive effect on Celtic because it would have kept us on our guard and thought, aye, we need to come out and fly. Because I always remember how dominant we were in the first half of the League Cup semi-final against them, and then we just came out the second half and just sort of passed the ball about for 45 minutes.
Aye. Well, you and Hunter were cussing them, saying couldn't believe we'd let them back into the game. I must admit, I just never seen it. I never seen them being back in the game. I don't know whether it's...
Barry McKnight nearly equalised.
Oh, I know, I'll get to that in a minute, but in my opinion it was just... Do you know what? It stopped a rout. It stopped a 7 or an 8-0. That goal, because I don't think they'd have turned up for a second half. And I know what you're saying about the semi-final 2 years ago, but it's just a different team. And I'll get to something that I spotted later watching the highlights, but I just thought at half time, do you know what, that stopped it being 7 or 8-0. Because maybe it's just that I've got faith in Rodgers to change it when it goes wrong, or before it goes wrong, more importantly, which again he did. We'll get that in a minute. But I just honestly, I didn't think... everybody around me was saying, I can't see him back in the game, we've let him back in the game. And of course, anything can happen in these games, these derby games, and all it takes is one mistake for them to get back in the game. But I just couldn't see it. I thought, one, they weren't threatening us enough, and you could count that and say, but look, they were up the part once and scored. But I just thought, even if they do score again, we'll go on and score maybe 3 or 4 more ourselves. I was just, for watching the first half, I was just in a supreme level of confidence that it was only going to be a Celtic win that game. But then Warburton changed it. He brought Halliday on for Cranchar, and Peterson had a bit of steel to the midfield. You didn't even know Halliday'd come on, didn't you know?
Aye, again, people probably think I'm ripping the fish, but it wasn't until I was watching Sky Sports highlights that night that I realised that he'd actually come on. He couldn't have done much, but I would say it's probably a smart move from Orban, because I think it was only a matter of time before Cranchar had to get sent off.
And I totally agree. I thought Cranchar, maybe no luck at his Steiner part, because he didn't commit any really bad fouls, but he had about 3 or 4 before he get booked, and then he had about 2 or 3 after he get booked. And we know our good friend Willie likes a booking. People said it was going to add a bit of steel to Rangers midfield, but I still thought, I don't know about yourself, I just thought I would have maybe been a wee bit more worried if they would have put Waghorn on and maybe put a wee presence in the box. I just thought with the change that he made, I just thought it was more, well, he's going to have Halliday and Barton sitting, and he's going to try and spring. They're going to try and spring Windass it. But no, I wasn't that bothered. But saying that, they did have a good first 10 minutes, and as you say, Barry Mackay had a off chance. He was actually quite unlucky with it. But I thought as soon as that went wide, that was it. I thought that was going to spark us into better. And then when Brendan Rodgers, don't know if he was showing off, but he took half Tom Rogic and put on Stuart Armstrong. What was your immediate reaction to that sub?
I don't know, because I just thought Rogic was having such a good game, but was I happy with it? Probably no, I'll be honest. But looking back on it, it's a masterstroke.
Well, to say the pub I was in let out a collective groan was an understatement. Not so much Rogic getting off, I think it was Armstrong coming on. Armstrong's a player that's been heavily criticised the last year or so for his performances, or his lack of performances, you should say. And even me, one of his biggest fans, when he first signed, I had to agree he hadn't performed in a long time, but I thought it was another example of Rodgers identifying a possible problem and saying, right, I'm going to fix it, and he did. He changed the game back in our favour, and for then on, we never looked back. And Armstrong played, I don't know if he played a part in the third goal, but I think he did. He played the ball into Dembele, who took his time, but eventually found Sinclair, and who was great pass, eye in the needle, great ball. Sinclair's onside, and it was a great finish for Sinclair and half in near post. And for that moment on, I thought, that's it, game over, and it is a matter of time. You would have seen the third goal maybe better than a lot of people. What was your take on
it? I'll be honest, I thought Sinclair was offside at the time, but I think it just goes to show how good a pass it was. Like, and again, it points to how intelligent Dembele is as a footballer, because the easy ball would have been out left, but it was just the absolute perfect pass for Scott Sinclair, and it was a great finish for Sinclair as well.
And what I liked about Dembele was when the ball came into him, he realised the time he had, and he could have took a touch, and that would have let Rangers get back. But he let the ball run across his body, and it was, for that moment on, he was on the turn, and it was, as I say, it was a great pass. I thought he took his time playing it, but obviously he made it, timed it to perfection. It was a great pass, and it was a great finish. And then Filip Senderos got his first booking for what can only be described as an assault on Dembele, and I thought that was a kind of concession for Rangers. If they were, that was the towel getting flung in, was his booting. Was when Senderos said, what, I can't deal with you anymore. I'm just going to kick you. And then Senderos got sent off about 10 minutes later for a handball. Don't know about you, but it was one of the most stupidest sending off thing I've ever seen in football.
Well, the first tackle that he got his booting for should have been a red card, because it's an off the ball assault. Like, there's nothing. I don't know how Colin can see it and not get a red card.
So he went off for a daft handball. A lot of talk about where the ball was going, and I think Dembele's through and goal. I don't know about you, but I think Dembele's clear through, and I think he's probably got his score.
It's nothing other. There's no argument about it. Can't be it on the red card.
And then Warburton had went for it. He took off Kiernan and put on Forrester. I think Lee Wallace was playing at centre half. I think Joey Barton was playing at centre half before Senderos got sent off. But it's an excuse. Our fourth and fifth goals were brilliant, and the fourth was a good move down the right, and great ball in for Lustig and a great finish for Dembele. And I don't know about you, but the celebration of that goal was just, that made my day. Even though I'm in Scott Sinclair scored that goal, I was absolutely certain it was Scott Sinclair. And I think the drink had worked its magic on me at this point, but I'd tweeted before the game a prediction for the game was a 2 each, but that being 2 for Dembele and 2 for Sinclair, so I was away quoting my own tweet. I think that was some sort of psychic, and John Reid gave me just said you were nearly right, and I'm thinking, what? Mate, I'll be honest, it wasn't until Dembele the match ball at the end of the game that I realised he'd get a hat-trick. And I also thought Dembele had been sent off at his goal, at the fourth goal, because he said, Ian Crocker said he's been booked for his celebration and he was walking towards the tunnel, and I thought, what's he get sent off for? Is he ran up and gubbed somebody or something? It was Sinclair's goal, and nobody was telling me otherwise until he got the match ball, and I turned and said, did he get a fourth goal? My mate went, aye, who do you think scored it? And I was like, Sinclair. That was just mental. Crazy. Obviously a wee bit of daftness on my part. At 4-1 though, were you satisfied?
At 4-1 I was relieved, because unlike you, I don't know, I couldn't relax at 3-1. The 4-1, I won me a few £100 as well with Denver's getting his hat-trick, but and I'd just say on that as well, Kiernan should have been sent off for his tackle that injured. I hope he's out for a few months, because it was a terrible tackle. He went right in through behind, and I thought he was lucky to stay in the park.
No, surely you're not wishing an injury on a professional football player.
No, of course not.
Surely not.
Celtic Rangers fans love each other.
We'll get to flashpoints because I don't think there were many, but there are a few I bring up after the game. But we did get a fifth, and it was a fine team goal. And Kieran Tierney, 92nd minute, bombing forward on the overlap, picks out, after a great passing move, picks out Stuart Armstrong, and it was a great finish. And I thought Armstrong deserved his goal. He had a couple of efforts, and I must admit I was happy for Armstrong to get a goal, and it clearly meant a lot to him as well. You know, he's a player that doesn't show a lot of emotion, and I thought he obviously wasn't going mental, but I thought he showed a wee bit of emotion, and I must admit I was delighted for him when he scored. I'll no lie.
Oh no, definitely. It's one of the goals, especially against a club that you just love, because obviously all the outfield players had played a part in it, and like you say, the second man was still balling forward. I think that's just great to see. And Armstrong was probably our best player in the second half. Come on the 53rd minute and changed the game. Deserved his goal, and I think on deadline day he was linked to a loan move away, and a lot of fans would have been quite happy to see the back of him, but fair play him, he's still there. Rogers said after the game that it just took a bit of time to find that position for him, but maybe that's it. We've always been wanting him in the centre, and maybe it is just a bit further forward.
I was going to touch on that because a lot of people have said we want to see him in the centre, and I'm one of them, but you just can't really find a spot for him now with Rogic playing as well as Rogic is playing, and then, you know, if you do want to start with the two, which I've no doubt up front, which I've no doubt Rogers will do in the future, with Dembele and Griffiths, with Brown and Beaton sitting with the two Roman wingers, I've no doubt we do that, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Armstrong getting Merrier on, because he is direct, you know, but sometimes he's direct, this is going to sound daft, but he is direct without a purpose. You know, he seems to run in straight lines, and then when it gets to the end game, he doesn't know what he's going to do with the ball. He done it on Saturday, I know, when he beat three, I think he beat two men, then he shot a shot and he didn't, he ran into somebody. But when he is running with a purpose and he's getting shots away, and I think he's a fine passer of the ball. I've always thought that. I just thought he adds something to the game, and Rogic, you're going to get the tracks and the flicks, and Rogic is a goal threat, and I think Armstrong's a goal threat too, but I think they're two different players, and I think that's good for us, in the same sense that Griffiths and Dembele are different players, and that's good for us because you can horses for courses, you can mix and match and say, right, we're going to play Dembele today because their defence. I mean, it seems a stick on Griffiths would have played if he was fit, but I mean, I think we're all screaming out for Dembele to play against that defence, so I don't think it's within the realms of possibility Dembele would have played anyway. But at 5-1, I was satisfied, you know, it was a rout, it was an embarrassment, and at the end of the game, they seemed to, you know, there wasn't the answer to the result. Warburton said that there's no gulf between the teams, and a couple of people have agreed. I mean, what did you make it at? I mean, I just think that's ludicrous. To suggest that after a 5-1 defeat is just mental.
Nah, I think he's deluded. But he's to be fair to him, he's probably struggling. His magic hat's been faulty for a few months now. I think he could... Do you think... sorry to butt in, do you think... I noticed after the Kilmarnock game, him and Davy Weir were waiting on Colm. I think it was Colm that ref that game. No, it wasn't. It was Steve McLean. No. Can't remember who refed that game. Whoever refed it, they were waiting on him coming off the game, I think. And there were a couple of times, not the ref, but in the first half on Saturday, he was raging, and I'd never seen him like that before. And as you say, his interview, do you think he's starting to crack? Do you think this is the beginning of the end? Oh, he definitely is. Davy Weir just took the hit on Saturday for that. We almost got our wish to see him took out of Celtic Park in handcuffs, but...
We were kind of half joking that Warburton was going to crack. I think the term I came up with was put a ball boy after 20 minutes, but we weren't 3-0 up, sadly. As you say, Davy Weir gets sent to the stands. I think this is... I don't want to be hubris and gloating, but I think the signs are there that Warburton's...
You've got to worry for him because he's seen things. He wanted Michael Lustig to get a second booking before he got first.
Exactly. Do you think, though, that the signs are he's starting to crack. Is it at the beginning and the end? I'd like him across as gloating, but he doesn't seem like he's in the mood to right any wrongs.
I said to you 2 weeks ago that, alright, I was looking at their fixtures, but they've got a really important few weeks here. We talk about the big games, but they go to Ross County, and then they've got to go to Pittodrie, and then they've got South in the League Cup as well. I'd argue if they don't win 2 out of 3 of their games, that he's under real pressure. And I'm going to make a prediction here. This is Nostradamus here. Mark Warburton won't be the Rangers manager in the next Celtic Rangers game.
And if he is, it will be the League Cup semi-final or a League Cup final. I kind of agree. I don't think they'll sack him, or they might.
No. Some mid-table championship club will come in and they'll see it as a way to get $200,000 compensation.
And they'll actively tell him to apply for it. As I say, I didn't want to come across as hubris, but I just seen it on Saturday. He was absolutely livid in that first half, and he was shouting, at Cranchar and Barton and Windass and the boy Mackay. He was getting torn into a couple of them, with real anger in his face. And I thought, the cracks are starting here with Auburn. He's believed his own hype for last season. And let's be honest, we don't want to spend time talking about them, but when he came in, we were told how he was going to sign young, hungry players that will press higher the park and make, 90 minutes of hell for teams. Well, he ripped that up when he signed Joey Barton, Grancher and Clint Hill. Never mind Senderos. So, I just think they're not going to win the league, are they?
Nah, they'll be lucky to finish top 2.
I would agree.
What I will, far be it from me to praise any Huns, but in my combined 11, the Huns get near it and they still don't. But I would give a wee bit of credit to Windass and Mackay. I thought they're the only 2 decent level players in that team. I thought the rest of them were hopeless.
I wouldn't agree. I don't know much about Mackay. I thought he actually had a better game later on when he was playing left back. He took the ball off Roberts a couple of times, but with Windass, I thought he played well. But I think Windass's performance is upped a bit because of how bad the 2 supposed superstars next to him were. Joey Barnes just no performed at all at Rangers, and Scott, the thing about him and Scott Brown was played by the media. I know Brown gave him a wee bit of patter after the second goal, and then Brown beat him in a 50-50 bounce ball that Barton wanted absolutely no part of. He was never interested in that whatsoever. Barton's afternoon went from bad to worse. He ended up at centre half. Dembele put him, Dembele slid in, tried to towel Dembele fired the ball by him. He had to go pick the ball again after the 5th goal. I just thought it was a shocking day to office for Barton, and it got to the point I think he was even trying to score for Celtic at one point. But moving, as you say, looking back at the game, and you say you would put the 2 in your, maybe not in the Raven or the bench, but they would get a special mention. I think after 93 minutes on Saturday, Celtic had made a lot of people in the Scottish media look very, very silly, and I don't think they're going to like that. I don't think maybe they were just, trying to hide it, but I don't think there were any other result but a severe Celtic down. And as I say, no gloating, but Hunter was talking to a Rangers fan, quite a prominent Rangers fan on Twitter, who his prediction was they wouldn't get hammered, and that's exactly what they got. So, what chance you got if that's your prediction going into a supposed big game?
Well, I think it was just about a realism for a lot of the pundits as well. I know I was listening to Super Slow Burning, the podcast from Saturday, and it was quite hilarious because Hugh Evans had went from tipping Rangers for the league to saying the Celtic will go on and do 10 in a row. I knew you're just going to hear for months how Celtic getting 25 million Champions League money is a bad thing. How Celtic having all this money is no good for the SPL.
So back to post-game, thought Rodgers was good. He had a wee moment where I can't remember, it wasn't Charles Patterson on Sky, but
Luke Shanley.
Luke Shanley, that's the one. He asked Rodgers a question along the lines of Lee Who, and because Griffiths was out, obviously, Rodgers told him not to be disrespectful. People are saying it was a wee bit of part of Shanley, and Rodgers maybe overreacted. I may be sounding a wee bit sycophantic here, but they would never have asked Walter Smith a question like that. And Rodgers I don't think he's answered one question wrong since he took over at Celtic. I think he's dealt with the media very well, and I was delighted he picked up on it because, I think that, what it's like, they like putting pressure on Celtic, and the pressure would have been on, Lee Griffiths. Next time he's in the park, if he doesn't score a hat-trick, he must be rubbish. So it was good to see Rodgers. I think Rodgers is big on players wanting to play for him. Look at Sinclair, look at Dembele. But something I've just said, Sinclair, has brought my mind back to something I wanted to say. See, after about 85 minutes, Sinclair went for a drink, and Rodgers could be, in my opinion, I might be wrong, my eyesight might be failing me, but he's clearly saying to him, keep the pressure on, don't nail it up, keep going. And I thought that was just a marker of how dominant Celtic were, and how fit, and how the change that Rodgers has got so far. Me and you are big Dyler fans, we would never stop, we'll never change our opinion on that. But you said the only bad thing about Rodgers is how bad he's making Dyler look. I think that's a cracking statement, I can't disagree, but it's just so good that Rodgers has got this change so quickly, and as I say, he's big on players wanting to play for him, and that team went out there and played for him on Saturday, didn't they? There were no, obviously, what I want to ask you is, Celtic are one again, aren't they? The club, the players, the fans, the management team, we are one again.
Aye, a few things you said there, picking up from Shanley trying to... I don't think there was any malice in his question, but at the same time Rodgers is quite right to not allow any sort of disrespect to him or Lee Griffiths, because you could have seen certain fans of other clubs' media saying, there's Rodgers agreeing with Lee Who, and then maybe cast out there was faith in him, but no, Rodgers handled it very well, and he gave a good bit of praise to Lee Griffiths as well, which was good to see. I made that statement about Rodgers making Dyler look bad because I think this is what Dyler's vision was, but it's obviously it's obviously just came to fruition with Rodgers, who's obviously a much more experienced manager and a better manager, obviously.
Yep. I don't think anybody would disagree that Rodgers is a better manager. I agree with you that this is what Dyler had planned was, and for one reason or another the players didn't buy in because he's not brought 20 new players in. But what Rodgers has done is bring key players in. He's backed up, and as I say, I wasn't a Dyler. I was a Dyler fan, but I was happy enough to criticise him when it mattered. I did give him a lot of allowance, saying that maybe he didn't sign the players and stuff, but the board have gave Rodgers a backing in the sense of look at the players that he's brought in straight away, key players in key positions that will play for him. Colo Touré's not coming up there to go out and drink with Scott Brown, and Chris Collins. Sinclair's not going up there to, go on and drink with him either. So Rodgers maybe had the opportunity and never done that. We send players, certainly he might not have done, Sweet Jenko came later, but I just think everything Rodgers has done so far has just been real classy. He's not made a bad signing yet, and I think, do you know something that I'm going to go out and say it, I think we could have signed an Auckland on deadline day. I think there was maybe 3 or 4 deals that could have been done, and Rodgers just says, no, it's not the right deal. I think he's not going to make a bad signing just for the sake of appeasing some supporters. I don't know about your thoughts on that, but back on you go.
No, I'd say I agree with you. It's about the players he's brought in. He's brought in his players, and he's the main man. It really should be the Celtic managers, the top man at the club, the top earner at the club, and just respected. Like, there's a reason that Sinclair, Dembele, Toure are all making their impact, whereas Dyla seemed to either be stuck with or trusted guys Stokes, Coleman, and I think it's really that's.
Yeah, I think but Dyla's biggest problem, in my opinion, is that he tried to change things, maybe not too quickly, because Rodgers has shown that he can change things quickly, but he didn't back it up by bringing in a player. You know, he kind of used Johansson, you know, who'd already been there, whereas Rodgers just came in and he said, right, I'm going to sign, you know, 4 players: Dembele, Sinclair, Toure and De Vries, and we have signed Dockers, haven't we? Was that only 4? Gamboa. But like with the 4 that he's already, I mean, obviously Dembele didn't play with him, but Dembele's highway footer. But with the 4 players, he's not just improved each position. Maybe no, De Vries doesn't maybe take us to another level, but Toure takes us to another level, Sinclair takes us to another level, Dembele takes us to another level, and I just think Dyla tried to change things too quickly without backing it up. Rodgers just came in, he's bought his own players, and he's backed up the change he wants to make. He's put players in that are ready, you know, and you can see the rest of the team, they're buying in. And as I say, the team, for the first time in a long time, probably since, I would say, Neil Lennon's first season, is the team are playing in a mould of the manager. And it's great to see, and I just think the team are playing it as one. The fans are, obviously with the Rodgers, Subba, Rogic and Armstrong, everybody was a wee bit worried, but I think with every passing week, you're just like, oh, let's just trust Rodgers. You know, let's get on Rodgers back and he'll take us, you know, where we want to be. And I mean, we've not even spoke about the Champions League. I mean, I can't think about the Barca game, I must admit, because obviously chances are we're going to get beat. You know, the probability is we're going to get beaten, probably beaten well. But I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to be upset yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm just so happy with how Celtic dealt with Saturday. I must admit that. My overwhelming emotion after the game was we dealt with it well, and as I say, we're only one result. Just back to the game before we move on. Is there anything that you thought should be highlighted? Because I think Joe Garner's performance should be highlighted. I don't know if you made it, being it again.
I thought he was anonymous. Scored a bundled door goal. That was about
it. He spent his afternoon trying to get Celtic to the centre half. He backed into Lustig and hit the deck. Then by the one where he actually fouled near Beaton and he knew what he was doing. Beaton won the ball. His foot was high, Beaton, but Garner knew exactly what he was doing. He followed right into Beaton. Beaton hit the deck. Garner hit the deck. Garner looks round at Collum. As soon as he sees Collum looking at him, he grabs his face. And then, about 2 minutes after that, him and Sviatchenko nips in round behind him and wins the ball. He gives a foul. Garner headbutts Sviatchenko's knee and then starts shouting stamp. And I just thought, is this, you know, like, if the incidents that I've just described happened over the course of 3 or 4 games, you would go, God, that boy's a cheating wee bastard. It happened over the space of about 60 minutes.
Well, I'm not far be it from me to say that Joe Garner's a cheating bastard, but he quite might be. See, if you even just type in Joe Garner cheat or Joe Garner dive, you'll get results from years ago. I genuinely thought that boy, and I thought the goal actually distracted him for trying to get Celtic players sent off. The Sviatchenko one was hilarious. I found that hilarious.
Sviatchenko looking at him as if, I mean, I don't know if it was paranoia or just, you know, a lack of faith in Willie Collum, but I was convinced he was going to send Sviatchenko off. Absolutely convinced.
When he walked out of him, that was a worry, but what did you make of Willie Collum?
I thought Willie Collum had a good game. I was worried because his previous Old Firms, he's seemed to let Rangers away with murder and gave them penalties that he can't see. I thought the Beaton booking was a booking but I thought there were a couple for Rangers. I think maybe Cranchar was one. There were another one where he won a foul outside the box but could have been about and they never booked him. He could have booked Cranchar. He eventually did. He could have booked him again if he was being pedantic. Apart from no sending off Garner for being a cheat, which he should have done. I think he got a bit bored. Senderos first one, I agree with you. I think Senderos could have walked for that because it was clumsy, it was cynical. But I don't think he got anything mysteriously wrong. I mean, there were a couple of... I mean, Celtic could have a couple of corners, which he never gave, and the linesman flagged Forrest offside in the first half when he was about 4 yards onside. And Forrest was actually round the back at that point, but I mean, it works. I thought he could have booked Lustig for that foul on Mackay. I don't think he would have given him a second booking if he didn't have a first one, but I thought that might have been a booking, but he wasn't a factor. I think that was what we all wanted, was for Willie Collum not to be a factor in the game, and thankfully he wasn't, and we ran out handsome winners. I mean, did you think he did a great game in the game?
I don't know about a great game, but obviously he got up in the atmosphere. I thought he was alright. I couldn't point to one thing I thought was spectacularly wrong. I don't know. I think my general thoughts on Willie Collum is that he's a poor referee, and like, fucking, that's really malicious. Like, I think Thompson just likes it to be all about him, so I was happy he didn't get it.
I agree. I was really worried Craig Thompson was going to get the game after his performance against Johnston, where he was putting Celtic players for looking at my point. I was really worried that he was going to get it and he was going to, as you say, make it all about him, like the semi-final. But the ref wasn't a factor. I mean, Matt Warburton said it wasn't a 5-1 game and there's no gulf between the teams. Celtic could have won more handsomely than that. I mean, seems to be, as I say, the same prominent Rangers supporter that said they wouldn't get beat, said that Rangers had a deeper squad than ours and that they had a better bench than ours, but the only player that changed the game off the bench on Saturday was off Celtic's bench. Everybody has come up with an alternative Celtic 11 that didn't start the game. Some players weren't even involved on the bench for Celtic that would come on, and we probably would have beat them 5-1. And to say that it wasn't a 5-1 game because all Celtic did was take all their chances. If you create 5 chances, you're going to win. But we created a lot more 5 chances. It was a rout, so it was, and I was delighted because ever since April we were getting told we pumped G's, that boy that tweeted the whole Rangers little pump was 2-2 on Saturday. Was spot on. We were told through April how, do you know what, that's 4 years of a gap which have been erased, in 120 minutes, and that when it comes to it, we're going to make signings, blah blah, we're going to come up and win the league, we're going for 55 and all that, and I just think that it's such a crash back down to earth for them. It really was such a brought back down to earth moment. They were shell shocked at that, and they've been saying how good they are, how good they could be, because there's no start to the season now, and how bad we've been. I mean, they were pinning their hopes on the fact that we could beat Lincoln Red Imps. Well, my mate tweeted as soon as the full-time whistle went, and this result just shows how good Lincoln Red Imps really are. I just thought it was such a watershed moment for that team, and now they've went for going for 55 to there's no way we're going to finish any worse than second. I mean, I think they'll be lucky to finish second.
Aye, it was quite hilarious. I seen a Rangers fan tweet, one positive for today is that Aberdeen dropped points, and I think that really just shows how small time they are now. We shouldn't worry about them. We should actually strengthen again in January to just bury every team in that league.
I'm worried about Hearts more than I'm worried about Rangers.
Hearts are the best team we've played this season, and they're looking good. I'm
worried about Ross County on a par with Rangers at the minute. Things could change, but Ross County have got Liam Boyce who could score 20 odd goals a season. Barring Wagcombe penalty, I don't see them scoring. I think if the ref's wising up with Joe Garner, he'll spend a lot of the season in the stands.
See talking about Wagcombe, that was a good save from DeVries at the end. I thought it was.
I couldn't remember it. I had to watch it again. I thought it was a good save when I seen it. Probably a poor finish more than anything else, but they didn't deserve 5-2. That would just would have been an injustice for them to get an odd goal. That's what happens when you don't take all the chances you create. So, final thoughts on the game to wrap up this chapter.
Final thoughts. It was a very true reflection of the gulf between the teams, and it's probably what we should be expecting from Glasgow derbies for the foreseeable future, I'd say.
Do you think, just another thought, I'm not saying final thoughts, but do you think if this becomes the norm, as you said, that even they will stop using Old Firm? They'll stop wanting to be associated with Celtic, because I don't see how it gets any better for them unless they go out and spend 30-40 million in January, and we all know that's never going to happen. They are so far behind us at the minute, and they were saying, it's a centre half, and I know a lot of the fans have predicted it will win in December. That's not, I mean, they could win a one-half game, right? But they're not going to catch us. We're 4 clear of them already. We've got a game in hand. Nah, my final thought is that was put to bed of any notion that Rangers were in any way equal to Celtic.
Nah, the big house I called it spot on 4 years ago. The league's gone and that's it. That is it. So looking forward, because as I say, the big games just keep on running at Celtic. Or get Barcelona tomorrow night in the Champions League, who lost at the weekend at home to Deportivo Alaves. Probably an half night, and Alaves have annoyed them. Are they going to take it out on Celtic? No. Celtic are a very confident team now. I wouldn't say overconfident, they seem very united, and Celtic are obviously some underdogs, but I think if I'm more likely to see a close run game where we lose 2-1 like we did in 2013, then you're going to see a 6-1.
Yeah, I need to disagree. I'm fearing I do, to be honest. But as I said about 10 minutes ago, I'm not ready to be upset with Celtic at the minute.
Well, the more is a free hit.
I think that.
We could lose 8-0 tomorrow and you'll still come out and say that that's it, that's the worst of the group the way.
There's only one thing that it's playing in my mind, is if we do get a bad defeat, then the media will use it to sweep. They're already using other things which, we've not spoke about. Maybe we'll speak about them at a different time when it comes to head about the crowd and stuff. But they've used that to sweep Rangers' demise under the carpet. I think if we were to get a hammering, then there would be no more references. But I think if you were to give Barcelona Rangers goal, and you were to give us 5 goals, so if it was to start 5-1, I think we still win in aggregate at the end of the tomorrow night, I hope. But do you know something that I just can't shake off this wee feeling that, as I say, I'm fearing they're doing, but as you say, we're confident, Dembele's confidence up, he's got to be running in behind. If we can keep it tight, I think we might score. And as I say, I'm just not ready to be upset with Celtic now. I'm just so happy with the things are going, and I think even a doing, you would be like, right, obviously you don't want to get fucked, but I don't think. See, people were thinking that the Champions League and bad defeats would derail us in the league. I think the way that we're set up and the professionalism of the manager, the set up, whether people like it or no, obviously we want to compete in the Champions League, but I think we're not treating it as a bonus, but we're treating it as, my point is we'll not be derailed by bad defeats. I'm almost certain there will be Champions League games are in the week, and by the Thursday they forgot about, and it's all about league duty again. I'm just so confident. I don't know what you think about it.
I don't know. Like, if I want us to be competitive, and I don't know. I don't think they will. But I just feel we're too organised. Rodgers will have them organised, and having a leader like Colo Toure on the park will keep us organised as well. And like I say, we're a confident team. I think it would take a lot, an absolute lot actually to derail us that much. And like you say, we've got Inverness on Sunday. It's actually on that from the on.
I think for Thursday onwards it's right. Whether even we win, and it works twice. By the way, I think as you say, it's a free hit. It will no derail us. We can, and I'm a fat greedy bastard. I'm having my cake and eating it. We get humped in the Champions League. It's forgot about. See if we win. See the confidence that'll give the team. I'm having it both ways with Celtic this season because we're in such a good position. We can get beat quite handsomely because we're expected to after these teams. I mean, Barcelona are up there with the best club sides in the world. They've got a terrific squad. They play fit by the right way. It could be hell on a night for 90 minutes for that team. The reserve team took 3 halves largely a full reserve team and all at times in Dublin. So we could get hammered, but by Thursday it's Inverness, and the same token, as I say, I'm having my cake and eating it. If we beat Barcelona or even get a draw, highly unlikely as it is, how buzzing are that team going to be for the league? The Champions League this year is a beautiful thing for us. It's a bonus in the sense we don't want to get humped, obviously, right? Because confidence will be affected if you keep getting beat every week. But we're in such a good position to go into it. Whereas if we pick up a couple of wins, we'll see the season will just rocket. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. As I say, I'm back at that stage where when's the next Celtic game? Right, what time? Who? Not even asking who we're playing, when is it? And I didn't even know it was Inverness, I just knew we were playing on Sunday after that. So, if you get a score prediction for tomorrow night?
Celtic 2, Barcelona 1.
And what about before you've taken your pills before bed?
My only prediction for tomorrow is Celtic will score.
My prediction, my heart says 1 each, or 1 Celtic. My head says 3-1 Barcelona. And I think Suarez will get a hat-trick. Just to rub it into Brendan Rodgers. Show him what he's missing. But as I say, going to be a good occasion and we roll on. Is there anything you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, just apologies to the millions and millions of listeners. We should hopefully be sorted by technical issues, but if not, feel free to start a GoFundMe for it to buy us a recording studio. I say we've had a tough couple of weeks. My computer's decided that it's still going to play ball. OC's broke. Hunter can't be on the night, which is a shame, but as I say, we felt after Saturday we had to throw something together. And Hunter, by the way, is very happy about Saturday. A bit like us, he was happy that justice was done and revenge was sweet. And he'll back next time again as usual. We're hoping this is it and we're back to a more usual time. So I know there's a couple of people who've been messaging me on Twitter saying when you get a pod done, you need to get a pod done before the game. But I mean, unfortunately it just wasn't possible, but we're getting one afterwards. Fucking bastards didn't message me.
Well, I see. You're too busy tweeting pictures of Paddy Roberts. People think you'll see a DM and think Roberts is getting up on you. You must be running out of pictures now, eh?
I'm on a limited role, but that's why I need to restart games.
So that'll wrap it up for this week. Where can the good people of Twitter find these Paddy Roberts pictures?
Well, it used to be Brucehillbhoy, but then a bit blur with Huns, so my username is slightly changed, but don't worry, it's in club. So you can currently find me at OCB_67.
And you can find me at Brucehillbhoy, where DMs about the pod or any general topic are welcomed. I think that was good to go. We'll probably have one out.
We beat Barca, we'll have one out with 5 past more.
Aye, there'll be a quick analysis of what I eat. They might even get a cigar out and go for a half time and we're up. You never know. Yeah, so we are back. Are we the same pod?
We're the same pod. Still delighted to be on Hail Hail Media.
Yep, very happy to be on Hail Hail Media. If you don't already, go on Hail Hail Media. They've got a lot of good shows going on every night of the week, probably. There's no end to the great Celtic content on Hail Hail Media, and what a week. If you've never been on Hail Hail Media, what a week you've picked to get in about it. We're all on to Champions League, and if you've made it this far, we've got nothing but respect for you. And hail, and Dan, have you got any last words?
Cheers for listening, Hill Hill.